Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So some stuff has been going on over on Mars lately, and it's getting kind of exciting over there. We've had a couple of back-to-back discoveries, so I thought I would go over both of them today. Kind of like a twofer video. Buy one, get one free. You're not buying anything though, so. Now this first story really gets into the weeds in terms of astrogeology, stuff that's like way over my pay grade. But I will do my best because I think that this discovery could really motivate something finally moving forward in terms of the Mars recovery mission. So on July 21st, 2024, Percy, everyone's favorite Martian little rover, came across something intriguing on the Mars surface. It was a rock. This rock. And to you and me, this just looks like a rock, standard Martian rock. But to scientists, this rock made everyone stop mid-sentence, because to them, this rock may actually hold evidence of ancient alien life. So this rock, which has since been nicknamed Chevalier Falls after a similar feature on Earth's Grand Canyon, was discovered by Percy as he was exploring the northern edge of the Neretva Vallis. This is a quarter-mile wide river channel created billions of years ago when water flowed into the nearby Jezero crater. The rock is just 3 feet by 2 feet, but packed within its limited area are 3 possible signs of ancient life. Its most notable visual feature are its reddish and whitish stripes. The former are speckled with dark-rimmed, light-colored splotches resembling a leopard's spots. The red color likely comes from the iron mineral hematite, the Perseverance team says. The rover's studies have revealed the whitish striations to be veins of water-deposited calcium sulfate, and they show that the dark rims of the curious leopard spots contain molecules of iron phosphate, a potential food for hungry subsurface microbes. Perseverance's instruments also show that the rock contains organic compounds, carbon-based molecules that are the building blocks of life as we know it. And I know you're thinking, it's a rock. There's a million of them, but this is actually a really rare find for the rover, which has been exploring in and around the Jezero crater since landing on the planet in February 2021, and so far has discovered nothing like this. Taken cumulatively, Perseverance's data shows not only that water long ago percolated through Chevalier Falls, but also that the mudstone once hosted other conditions that are typically associated with microbial life. To scientists, Chevalier Falls' spots bear an uncanny resemblance to structures that, when found in rocks at Earth's depths, usually show signs of life, so-called biosignatures. Technically termed reduction spheroids, these features typically form from organic matter entombed in sedimentary rock that is rich in oxidized or rusted iron, which gives such rock a ruddy color. According to David Flannery, an astrobiologist and member of the Perseverance science team, significantly, these reduction spheroids are likely the only biosignatures for subsurface microbial life that you could see with your eye, or the cameras on our rover. But, and here's the big but, because these structures can also arise from purely non-living processes, they can't act solely as ironclad evidence of past life, especially when they're being remotely studied by a robot on an alien world millions and millions of miles away. Even on Earth, Flannery says there is surprisingly little work done on reduction spheroids, in part because it's so difficult to understand these things. Whew, you're telling me, Flannery. But this was more than enough for the Perseverance team to order the rover to drill and stash some of the rock in one of its sample tubes for eventual retrieval. That grab-and-go plan, dubbed Mars Sample Return, is a collaboration between NASA and ESA. It is managed by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which also built and operates Perseverance. But extensive schedule slips and multi-billion-dollar budgetary overruns, however, have given us no known date for when we might retrieve Perseverance's caches of precious samples back to Earth. But Percy is still out there collecting them whenever we tell him to. Now, as I said in the beginning, all of this is a bit wonky. Not wonky like askew, but like wonky in the very specialized knowledge realm. And I get that it's hard to get excited about a rock, but I do think that perseverant scientist Ken Farley put it pretty well. Chevaya Falls is the most puzzling, complex, and potentially important rock yet investigated by Perseverance. On the one hand, we have our first compelling detection of organic material, distinctive colorful spots indicative of chemical reactions that microbial life could use as an energy source, and clear evidence that water, necessary for life, once passed through the rock. On the other hand, we have been unable to determine exactly how the rock formed and to what extent nearby rocks may have heated Chevaya Falls and contributed to these features. Caleb Scharf, a senior scientist at NASA, said, "It certainly is exciting. The Chevaya Falls discovery represents one of the better arguments for returning samples from Mars or for sending new devices and instruments that expand how we can interrogate the evidence on Mars." And that might be the point that is really what is so exciting about all of this. Perseverance now has in its cache something that the scientists are literally dying to see. It just needs a ride home. And I have noticed historically that with the proper motivation, NASA is suddenly able to accomplish some of the most amazing things. So, moving on to the second exciting Mars discovery. A recent study was published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, and it represented the findings from a new analysis of NASA's Mars InSight lander, which touched down on the planet in 2018. And that finding told scientists that there appeared to be a reservoir of liquid water on Mars, deep in the rocky outer crust of the planet. And not like a few drops of water, like a full-on reservoir. The Mars InSight lander carried a seismometer which recorded 4 years of vibrations, or Mars quakes, from deep inside the red planet. Analyzing those quakes and exactly how the planet moves revealed seismic signals of liquid water. While there is water frozen at the Martian poles and evidence of vapor in the atmosphere, this is the first time that liquid water has been found on the planet. InSight's scientific mission ended in December 2022, after the lander sat quietly listening to the pulse of Mars for 4 years. In that time, the probe recorded more than 1,319 quakes. By measuring how fast seismic waves travel, scientists have worked out what material they are most likely to be moving through. Professor Michael Manga from UC Berkeley, who was involved in the research, said, "These are actually the same techniques we use to prospect for water on Earth, or to look for oil and gas. The analysis revealed reservoirs of water at depths of about 6 to 12 miles, or 10 to 20 kilometers, in the Martian crust." Professor Manga added that water was the most important molecule in shaping the evolution of a planet. This finding, he says, answers the question of where did all the Martian water go? Because according to this paper, it's still there, just underground. And to Manga, this makes sense because much of the Earth's water is also underground, so there's no reason why it wouldn't necessarily be the same case on Mars. Studies of the surface of Mars with its channels and ripples show that in ancient times there were rivers and lakes on the planet, but for 3 billion years it has been a desert. It's thought that some of that water was lost to space when Mars lost its atmosphere. But here's where it gets really juicy. Manga said, "Water is necessary for life as we know it. I don't see why the underground reservoir is not a habitable environment. It's certainly true on Earth. Deep, deep mines host life. The bottom of the ocean hosts life." I mean, yeah. Mull that over for a minute. The InSight probe was only able to record directly from the crust beneath its feet, but researchers expect that there would be other reservoirs across the planet. If that is the case, they estimate that there is enough liquid water on Mars to cover the entire surface at least half a mile deep. But this discovery also has its potential drawbacks too. Scientists point out that the location of this Martian groundwater may not be good news for billionaires with Mars colonization plans who might want to tap into it. It's sequestered 10 to 20 kilometers deep in the crust, said Professor Manga. Drilling a hole 10 kilometers deep on on Mars, even for Elon Musk, would be difficult. And I actually Googled it, and the deepest hole ever drilled on Earth is the Kola Super Deep Borehole in northwest Russia. It was drilled during the Cold War and apparently extends down 12 kilometers. And it took them 20 years. So that's what we'd be looking at minimum, on another planet, millions of miles away. So, you know, it'd be tough. But again, I think the takeaway here is that there might be a lot of water beneath the surface of Mars, like a lot. And where there's a lot of water, there's typically life in whatever form. And while of course my brain goes to like Marianas Trench type creatures, it could also just be like amoeba, microbes, tiny little things. But even if they are tiny little things, they are tiny little alien things, like proper little not from this planet alien type things. And that's not nothing. So let me know what you guys think of these two recent discoveries. I mean, they both kind of lean in the same direction, right? I mean, Mars just might be this hotbed of microbial life, and maybe a lot of that went underground with the water when the atmosphere went. And we've seen nothing down there, and now we know that there's likely a there down there. I mean, something anyway. So yeah, and maybe this will actually motivate NASA to get Mars sample return an actual ride home so we can find out more about what is going on this strange red little planet. It is a mystery, that one. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.